It's ghoulish. That's the only word that can explain Prince Harry and Meghan Markle sharing a private picture of their so-called private children, Archie and Lily, on their so-called private vigil to lay flowers at Princess Diana's grave for the first time. No wonder there is now international revulsion over this decision to go public with the most intimate details of their summer family holiday to once again hit back and, as Piers Morgan put it in one word, privacy. Yeah, right. Although I think it was Lee Cohen of Tea with Lee who summed up this succession of pictures, and there you'll see all of these pictures have a particular meaning. All of them are designed to clap back at certain elements of our coverage over the past few weeks. She knows exactly what she's doing here, including the weird cosplaying of Princess Diana and the even weirder decision to try and overshadow Prince George's 13th birthday with new pictures of Archie. So all of that is totally odd, but I think Lee Cohen summed it up best by writing, hands up if you were sick to death of the Sussexes' weird AF pictures of the back of their children's heads. They are a freak show family. And that's how I felt, because you'll remember, given we covered it, that just a couple of weeks ago, Meghan Markle had the front to brief the mainstream media that it was her who was never going to release pictures of the children with King Charles. It was her who's so determined to protect their privacy. And then this dump on Instagram, when finally it's revealed by people within the mainstream media that life within this marriage ain't happy. And let's be honest, no wonder if you wear a cosy and shoes like that, but that's a whole other story. Don't miss a single update on the stories that actually matter. I'm breaking down the news every day, so make sure you subscribe to never miss a beat. Click that subscribe button right now. It's the Althorp image, of course, though, which has particularly disgusted royal watchers. That is because we know that Prince William's strongly held and deeply passionate view is that this site must remain sacred. Hans posted, just when you think Meghan can't be any more despicable, she goes ahead and proves us wrong. Who shares pics of a private moment that looks like they're visiting Diana's gravesite? There's Harry and Archie carrying flowers. Have some respect and keep it private. Disgusting, no shame. The Mail then went on to report that they did believe this to be Althorp, with their diary editor Richard Eden writing, it is understood to have been taken as they made their way to lay flowers at the grave of Princess Diana. And of course, within hours, predictably, confirmation from their propagandists at People magazine, who tried to paint this as some type of beautiful moment, but within it confirmed that it was indeed Althorp. The photo, and just to clarify, in case you don't realise, Harry and Meghan briefed directly to People magazine, so this has come from their team. And People reports one image shows Harry, Archie and Lily from behind as they walk down a grassy path lined with trees and hedges. The photo is believed to have been taken at Althorp, the Spencer family's ancestral estate where Diana grew up. Harry and Archie are both seen carrying large bouquets, prompting speculation that the family may have visited Diana's burial site, which is located on an island in the middle of the estate's oval lake. During the family's recent visit to the UK, they stayed at the 13,000-acre Northamptonshire estate as guests of Harry's uncle, Charles Spencer. The trip gave Archie and Lily the opportunity to spend time at a place so closely tied to their late grandmother, who died in a car crash in Paris in 1997 when Harry was 12. While at Althorp, the Sussexes are also believed to have spent time with other members of the Spencer family. Princess Diana's grave is located on a small island in the middle of Althorp's oval lake and is not accessible to the public. Her brother Charles Spencer wrote in his book that its remoteness was intentional, with the lake acting as a buffer against the interventions of the insane and ghoulish, the thick mud presenting a further line of defence. But indeed, I would now use Charles Spencer's words directly to describe the acts of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. You too are insane and ghoulish. You too have no respect for Princess Diana's resting place. And also all of us who have to put up with your constant briefings about privacy. And then you post the most intimate photos that we have never seen of members of the royal family unless they've been taken by paparazzi. Like, no, we don't want to see Meghan's ass cheeks, okay, while she's watching her children in the water. Please. According to Taz, posting, you have to admit, this is pretty sickening. The holiday pictures are fine. So Tasha's actually saying the holiday pictures are okay. But to take photos of the children carrying flowers on their way to lay them at Diana's grave is not something that should be shared with the public like a fun day out. It's ghoulish. She's using that word too. Brittany of the Royal News Network, as ever, I'm sure she's used that phrase purposefully. Meghan Markle takes what should be a solemn and private family moment and exploits it for clicks and money. It's so incredibly disgusting, and I can't help but imagine Prince William would be incensed. There's nothing wrong with them visiting Diana's grave, but why did she have to disrespect Harry and her children by posting about it? This is a woman who's claimed for years that all she wants for her family is privacy, and then she commoditizes her children and the memory of her deceased mother-in-law for the world to see. This, perhaps more than anything else, exposes what a hypocrite and liar Meghan is. It also reveals the disdain she has for her mother-in-law, who is everything she isn't. Probably the last thing in the world Diana saw was the flashes of the camera, and now here is her daughter-in-law trampling on her memory with a camera in tow for her own greed. William has and would never do anything this crass, but that's who Harry has married. He married a woman who cares nothing for him, his pain, or the memory of a woman who would probably have despised her. Meghan's always about the clicks, and this revolting picture is absolutely proof of that. Delighted to be joined now by Paula Frolick of Paula Frolick Uncensored. Paula, look, I do have a problem with all of the holiday pictures, actually, if I'm honest. I mean, this is the same woman who has just spent the past 4 weeks gaslighting us about how, of course, she would never release a picture of the children with the king. And of course, they're just a normal, happy family. But of course, the priority is protecting the children. Well, we can see the children. And you know, we can see the children at actually their most intimate moments as children. It's totally different to the very prepared shots that William and Catherine release of their children. I just do not get this at all. Do you? While Harry and Meghan demand special treatment and attack the royals, the mainstream media still protects them. On Outspoken, I call it out with no bias. So subscribe right now for the full story every day.
No, I think it's a little trite, and I think it's manipulative. And it's also, the thing is, and I've written about this before, Meghan's brand, as ever, is really Meghan. So you can't really separate between her personal Instagram and as ever Instagram. They also have the Sussex Instagram. And I think this is really about Meghan trying to shore up her own image as just a sweet mom with her kids and her husband on a European family vacation. But it is, you're right, it is kind of creepy. She's got the Princess Diana bathing suit. She's not, it's odd. It's just odd. It's also truly elitist. We already know that Meghan doesn't really like to hang out with anyone who's worth under 10 million, really. But clearly they flew in a private plane. Their dog is there. They didn't put their dog in storage in Delta. And it's all very elitist for me. It's just, did this need to happen? I don't think it did. Notice there are no shots of Harry's trip to see Elton John. Notice there are no shots of Highgrove, which is nice, actually. However, the shot of Althorp is just, it kind of makes your stomach turn a little bit. I mean, obviously there are people in my family who are no longer with us, and I do go visit their graves, and I might take a photo of the gravestone, but I don't know. No, you don't do like the family outing to go see the grave on private property. Not to mention, I think it's really interesting that, Diana's brother, the Earl, had said no cameras. And by that, he meant no camera crews, but he clearly didn't mean a camera phone, which means, of course, when they went over to the island, there was obviously a camera phone with them. Is there photos? Are there videos? We've all heard talk of the Diana documentary that Harry is thinking of doing next year for the 30th anniversary of her death, which is also incredibly ghoulish. And we also know that the Netflix Harry and Meghan doc had a bunch of their home videos, and by that I mean their phone videos on them. So this would likely be appearing there.
Just when you think things couldn't get any more unbelievable, another line gets completely crossed. Absolute outrage across the UK and around the world today as Prince Harry and Meghan Markle face fierce international backlash over their latest stunt. What was supposed to be a private, sacred family moment, visiting Princess Diana's final resting place at Althorp, has now been turned into a global public media showcase. Royal insiders are calling it deeply disturbing. Commentators are labeling it completely ghoulish. And reports suggest Prince William is left in utter horror as photos of young Archie and Lilibet carrying flowers to Diana's secluded gravesite suddenly hit social media and mainstream news briefs. Why was a camera phone pulled out during what should have been a solemn, private moment? Was this an honest share, or a calculated strategy designed to grab global headlines? Let's break down every single detail. Let's look at what actually went down. During a recent trip to the UK, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle stayed at the 13,000-acre Althorp Estate in Northamptonshire as guests of Harry's uncle, Earl Charles Spencer. Now, Princess Diana's final resting place is located on a small, secluded island in the middle of Althorp's Oval Lake. Earl Spencer himself wrote in his book that the island's remoteness was intentionally designed to protect Diana's memory from intrusion. Yet, images emerged showing Harry, Archie, and Lilibet walking down a tree-lined path carrying large bouquets of flowers, a moment heavily believed and confirmed by media briefings to be on their way to Diana's burial site. Royal commentators like Dan Wootton and Paula Froelich minced zero words. The word being thrown around repeatedly is ghoulish. Critics are asking, if you claim you moved across the ocean to protect your children's privacy and escape the relentless media lens, why pull out a camera during the most intimate, solemn moment of their young lives to share with millions? Prince William has held a deeply passionate view for decades that his mother's resting place must remain completely sacred and private. To see it turned into media fodder is, according to insiders, deeply infuriating to the Prince of Wales. The timing here isn't escaping anyone's notice either. The photo release coincided directly with Prince George's milestone 13th birthday coverage.
Yeah, I mean, I've said for some time, Paula, that I think the pictures that they need to secure for the documentary next year do not actually have to be filmed by a camera crew. Because, of course, one of the main reasons why Netflix was so happy with the Harry and Meghan documentary, which, remember, was a hit. It's the only show that has been a hit as part of their Netflix package, was because Harry and Meghan had to, and it was for the big paycheck, not 100 mil, but still a very big paycheck, had to guarantee that they were going to open up their personal photo album. And we saw a lot as a result. Remember, there were the videos on the Freedom Flight, and there were the videos even on the night of the engagement. All of them were included in the documentary. So my contention is that all of these photos and videos for the documentary will have been taken personally by Harry and Meghan, which they believe gives them some type of out in terms of, oh no, well, we weren't really commercializing the visit. These were our own personal memories, and we've just decided to share them. But actually, that's not what's happened, Paula, because the only reason that they made this visit was in order to secure those pictures. Because remember, they didn't want to make this visit because it goes against, and we'll come to this later, but it goes against what they've wanted to achieve in terms of the security. Oh, but quickly, Paula, can I just ask you about that picture we just saw? Because actually, a lot of people believe, and you seem to suggest it, that this was her purposefully cosplaying Princess Diana. So Stephanie Sidley, for example, writing, Meghan Markle is wearing the same cut swimsuit Princess Diana was famous for. The Royal Grift describing it as absolutely mental, and Meghan's Mole saying that it's psycho stalker behavior. Again, Paula, if this were a one-off, you'd probably give the person benefit of the doubt, right? But given this is now like such a trend, I do believe it's purposeful. Do you?
Of course. Of course it is. We could go through the last, 8, 10 years of all the outfits she's copied of Diana's. And, it's actually quite, what's the word? Oedipal and weird. It's almost as if she's trying to remind Harry, I'm mummy. And remember, you
I'm
married
mummy, and
the woman.
I'm still in her perfume.
Yes, exactly. I'm the woman that your mother sent you to marry. I'm embodying her spirit. It's all just
So wrong.
kind of spooky. But you know, the other thing about the Althorp's visit, Dan, is that they're not particularly close with Diana's brother. He did get married in the States and they were not there, nor do I believe they were invited.
Look, it's a relationship
So,
of convenience for both sides, though, because
absolutely.
Charles Spencer is certainly not close with Prince William. And so it's
No.
also an opportunity to get one over Prince William. It suits Harry. So,
Hmm.
look, I don't want to go into it today, but, you know, Charles Spencer, not a good guy. Do you know what I mean? So like,
No.
it
Just ask any
suits
of the
them.
women in his life besides
Yeah.
his current wife.
Yeah. Exactly. So it sort of suits them both to have this friendship, I guess, or relationship of convenience. The other picture that people have picked up on, Paula specifically, is the Archie pictures. So let me explain why. So Hans posted, like clockwork, the holiday pictures emerge. We need to share the summer holiday pics of the kids whom they constantly talk about protecting with kids' privacy concerns and claims. Yet we are sharing an unlimited number of pictures with them. And Opinionated Russian adding, so the Prince and Princess of Wales drop a grown-up picture of Prince George to celebrate his 13th birthday milestone, and now all of a sudden Archie has grown 4 inches. And specifically Summer Bell adding Prince George was seen sitting in a plane. So, of course, Meghan just had to make sure Archie was seen doing the same. She is a crazy stalker. Again, Paula, it could be a coincidence, but it's a pretty odd coincidence, I guess I would say. Don't miss a single update on the stories that actually matter. I'm breaking down the news every day, so make sure you subscribe to never miss a beat. Click that subscribe button right now.
Well, the only thing that I just raise my eyebrow at is the timing. I mean, to be fair, children of that age do grow quickly and they grow in spurts. Also, to be fair, what child does not want to sit in a cockpit? I actually am not a child and would like to sit in a cockpit, but I do think the timing is just odd. You know, it was dropped on a Thursday. Prince George's birthday was on Wednesday. On Thursday, people were still talking about the photos and still talking about Prince George's future when Meghan decides that's the appropriate day to drop photos of her children. So it is a little odd. It's a little just thirsty, you know, back to me. I need the attention. Come on. You know, it's just I I feel kind of sad for them. I feel sad for them all. They're all a little bit desperate.
Well, I feel sad for the children, Paula, because I think, like Lee Cohen, he's not a particularly rude guy, right? He can be very restrained, actually. He's a very respectable guy. But this is a freak show now. Like, the only thing I can compare it to is Michael Jackson with his children in the last days of Michael Jackson's time on Earth. Now, I don't want to get into the Michael Jackson debate, you know, but you've got to admit it was a freak show. You know, the kids walking around in masks and veils and
a blanket
and
over their head.
blankets,
Yes.
and you know, you've got to admit that was a freak show, and this is the closest that we've got to it, and it's
Yeah.
not helping these kids. I would actually argue, Paula, and again, Sussex Squad members won't like this, you're putting more of a bounty on the head of these children by creating this sort of freakish desire for them to be seen. It's not helping them.
No, it's not. And the other thing is, there are plenty of celebrities. Look at Eva Longoria. Look at Eva Mendes. I'm just going to name all the Evas today. You don't know what their children look like because their career is about them. They don't feel the need to post their photos. And if they do, they give it out to private friends. But their public facing Instagram is absolutely child free. And that's the thing about Meghan. She keeps trying to put out this happy family, but at the same time, she's fetishizing her children. And also, the other problem is when these children grow up, when they are able to speak, the only questions they will ever be asked about is their childhood. They will be stuck in their childhood forever. Also, I think they might be a little mad that they never got to meet any member of their family with the exception of Grandma Doria.
Yeah, of course they will be. Now,
And sorry,
Please.
minimal visits with King Charles and the evil stepmother, Queen Camilla, which
Dangerous woman.
I just have to tell you, the delight in me knowing that even in private, the royals have to bow to each other or curtsy to each other, as opposed to rank. So how was that, Harry and Meghan? Did you curtsy? Did the children, did you teach them? Did you do the deep weird one? Or did you just do a bob?
Yeah.
Commentators quickly pointed out how every time the working royals celebrate a major milestone or release an official photo, a sudden photo dump or media brief from the Sussex camp magically appears in the news cycle. Is it purely a coincidence or a tactical push for maximum spotlight? And then there are the fashion observations that royal watchers called out instantly. Critics highlighted Meghan wearing swimsuit cuts and styles eerily reminiscent of Princess Diana's famous iconic looks from the 90s. Commentators on air openly questioned whether this is subtle homage or deliberate branding, trying to evoke the memory and spirit of Princess Diana at every available turn. Here is where things get even more interesting. Why take personal phone photos and footage in the first place? Industry insiders suspect these intimate home clips and photos could be banked for future media projects, including heavily rumored upcoming documentaries centered around Princess Diana's legacy. We saw the exact same pattern with their hit Netflix docuseries, which relied heavily on personal phone videos recorded during private moments. All of this comes right on the heels of major news regarding Harry's legal battles over UK security. Reports out of the UK reveal that Harry's Ravex security review has been placed on hold as UK authorities face unprecedented demands protecting former prime ministers and high-profile targets amidst broader geopolitical tensions. Critics argue that while Harry fights endlessly in court claiming the UK is too unsafe for his family without high-level state protection, he simultaneously releases photos detailing their exact UK movements. The contradiction couldn't be more glaring. Look, at the end of the day, visiting a late grandmother's grave to lay flowers is a beautiful gesture. No one is questioning a son's right to bring his children to honor Princess Diana. The real issue, and what has sparked this intense global debate, is the public commodification of that moment. When solemn grief and private family history are broadcast for public consumption, where do we draw the line between sharing personal memories and exploiting them? Prince William, the royal family, and millions of fans worldwide believe Diana's resting place should remain untouched by the camera lens. Drop a comment below right now. Do you think sharing photos near Princess Diana's grave went way too far, or is the criticism overblown? Let me know your thoughts down below. I read every single comment. If you found this breakdown insightful, hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on the biggest royal and entertainment news stories as they break.